What's up, Bardiodles? Chartreuse here, and I want to have a little discussion with you guys about the three classes in Destiny: Hunter, Titan, and Warlock. Now, throughout all of Destiny, Hunter probably has been the most popular class, but since the last big season change, I've noticed way more Hunters. In fact, myself, I have mainly switched to a Hunter too. I was a Titan throughout all of Destiny 2, but the last few months, this last season, I switched to a Hunter. Quick little backstory. If you knew me way back when I first started playing Destiny 1, I actually originally started playing a Hunter. The reason why I chose a Hunter is based off my previous MMO logic, specifically World of Warcraft. Typically when I think of Warlock, I think of more of a spellcaster, right? More of a support, not support, but like a ranged DPS, magic, spells more so. When I saw Hunter, I think of someone with like a bow and arrow in games, having a pet, that's typically WoW, but Hunter I think of, more, specifically in this game, people probably think more ninja-esque, more sneaky, quick, fast, or medium style armor, but quick. The Warlock would have, cloth armor and, pretty squishy, but spellcaster, long range stuff. And then Titan, you think would be a bit more tanky, right? Slower, hits hard, can take a lot of damage. So I kind of based my first logic off that when I got this game. I chose Hunter because, I wanted to be kind of a faster, I was always a tank and I wanted to play DPS or whatever. Because originally I thought this game was like an MMORPG first-person shooter. That wasn't entirely the case. There's a little bit of role-playing aspects in each class, but they're not like so defined and just completely separated like World of Warcraft. Like I said, if you think about it now, there's a little bit of role-playing aspect in there. Warlocks, they have the robe-looking armor, kind of, it looks like cloth. They have the longer range spells, the kind of the force melee-looking thing, the way their supers are, the rift kind of, spellcaster aspect. You have hunters who are, you would think would be the fastest, but no, they're the most agile. They have their little knife for melees, they have their rolls, they have their instant jump, their trip mines, which are, a trap and stuff like that. And then you have Titans who look very tanky with their armor, but doesn't really do much. They punch for melees. Their melees can hit harder depending on their subclass. Very shoulder chargy, like tight going into battle. Throwing down a barricade for a bit more tank style roleplay. And, their supers. Their supers are very tank style based, whereas, hunters are very assassin-y, ninja style based. And then you have your warlocks, which is very spellcaster based. So I originally started playing as a hunter, and, my first long time was there. I switched to a Titan because playing a hunter so long in Destiny 1, I just wanted to try out something else. I played a Titan, and I switched to a Titan. Titan skating was fun. The striker one-shot punch in Destiny 1, you shoot once with the hand cannon punch and they're dead. And then you get healed, along with skating. I think I just had skating, and Twilight Garrison on the Titan was super good for what it was. It was console, lack of mobility, able to look around. Twilight Garrison was super huge to be able to, for movement. I think Hunters had their jump. I don't remember. I think, was it only Night Stalkers that could roll? I don't remember if all Hunters could roll. I think Titans probably had pretty up there movement back in Destiny 1, pretty superior. Hunters had their instant jump and I think their roll on Night Stalker. And then Warlocks, they didn't have the movement back in Destiny 1. Destiny 2 comes out and I move on to a Titan as well. I main Titan the whole time. They had super fast skating in the beginning of Destiny 2, but eventually it was nerfed, and we have a little bit of we have a slow skate. You can still skate, but it's not really worth doing. It's not that fast. It's not very advantageous, and the only movement a Titan kind of has is shoulder charge, which sometimes you might accidentally shoulder charge into an enemy when you don't want to, if you're trying to use it as movement, and you have to have a little bit of build up to use it. It's not instant like the Hunter. So fast forward to this season, Warlocks got the Icarus dash in the air, just like a Destiny 1 Twilight Garrison. Something happened to their movement, and you pair that Icarus dash with the jump a certain way, and you can zoom across the map. I'm sure some of y'all have seen how Panda plays the Warlock. He is just, it's crazy how fast it is. It's faster than a D2 Year 1 Titan skate. Back to the main thing. You have a Warlock with extremely fast straight line speed, with the option of Icarus dash to, dash to the left, to the right, you know, any direction in a quick, very quick fashion. Warlocks have their little float, which is not the greatest. It's their jump. Talking about their jump. They have their jump, which is not the greatest for fights, but they have their float, which is pretty nice for open ceiling maps. Now you have Titans. Like I said, we have a shoulder charge, but most of the time, people don't even run a subclass that has shoulder charge on it. Titans have basically zero movement abilities. Like I said, they have skating, but it's really inefficient and almost not worth doing these days. And their ability is a barricade, which is, you know, not the greatest. Now you have hunters. Hunters have their role, which is instant, reduced damage on the certain subclass. Paired with certain exhausts could reload your weapons and give you increased handling and stuff like that, but just the hunter role is the best and the easiest movement to use in the game. On top of that, the hunter jump is very good for gunfights. You can jump in the middle of a fight just fine. You can use your jump to evade certain stuff. So you have the hunter roll and the hunter jump, which is both very good abilities. Warlock, you have the Icarus dash, straightforward speed, and the ceiling float on certain maps, which is good as well. Titans, I was a Titan main. Titans don't have much now. Now, a reason I think hunters are played the most is because people maybe like the way they look. They want to be like ninja when they first started. They are probably the easiest, best to use movement-wise. I think at this moment in time, Warlocks have more potential for movement, but it's a little bit more effort to master. And Hunters are a good middle ground. They're easy, their abilities are easy to use and easy to learn, and easy to incorporate into gunfights. But I think the Warlock has more potential to be better if you take the time to learn the mechanics. Now I've played a lot of Crucible. I have a decent amount of lifetime kills, 231,000. If you look at this emblem, 109,000 is Hunters, 67,000 Titans, 64,000 Warlocks. That's in PvP. That's a pretty big difference. That right there is a little bit of proof that majority of people play Hunters in Crucible. And the reason why I bring up this topic in the first place is the other night I was playing competitive with Makowski. We were helping a viewer from his channel get 5,500 for the first time, I believe, for his Not Forgotten. And we were all three were Hunters, but a lot of times all three of the enemy team are Hunters. So there's 6 Hunters in one game. Again, I personally don't really care, but I just want to point out that there's a little bit of unbalance and lack of variety in that aspect, because the least amount of subclass I saw was Titans. If there was another class, it was 5 out of 6 were Hunters and then 1 was a Warlock or 1 was a Titan, but most of the time it was a Warlock. I believe the skill gap in this game is mainly with the guns and stuff so easy to use. A lot of the skill comes from your movement and your positioning, and with Titans not having the greatest movement abilities right now, like there's a lack of them in the Crucible. It would be nice for them to have some kind of movement ability, whether it just be Twilight Garrison, the OG Twilight Garrison coming back, or some kind of movement ability incorporated into the subclass. I always joke around, just give them a dolphin dive like Call of Duty World War II. I think it was World War II, or World at War. Now to talk a little bit about the TWAB, or This Week at Bungie, I don't want to talk about the previous weapon update changes. This is about the subclasses. Now the Warlock melee. I never really played Warlocks, so I never really noticed it, but they did have a slower melee than Titans and Hunters. Now they did increase it from 4.5 to 5.5. I don't think that's a huge deal. Like, it's not super overpowered, but it's a nice change, you know, nice way of balancing it without making everything the same, as it says. So the Titan barricades, I understand why they did this, and that's because of trials. When your teammate goes down in trials, or elim, you lay down a barricade, you can pick them up pretty easy. You would require 2 people shooting at with probably a full magazine of primary to take down the shield, and even special ammo didn't do a whole lot. You had to, shoot quite a few. So I understand why they did the 30% extra damage for, sniper rifles and shotguns. Oh, shotguns, 60, okay. But I understand why they did this. In trials, if you were to lose the round, your ammo wouldn't carry over, so you'd only be stuck with 2 rounds, and you can't really afford to waste that in a barrier. Especially if you ended up sniping somebody, you have 1 round, and there's not a whole lot of ammo left. And with a shotgun, maybe 2 shells to kill somebody, you don't have a whole lot of ammo left. So I can understand the balance changes. Now the one-shot abilities, this is nice. I've always said Destiny has too much tracking. There's way too much tracking in this game, and it's nice that they did reduce the tracking on shoulder charge. They reduced the tracking on the throwing knife, and they nerfed handheld supernova pretty significantly, which is Again, very nice. Now, I don't believe they said what they did with the Stormcrawler top, Striker bottom, and Arc Strider bottom tree to make them more closely balanced to the other trees. I don't believe it says what they did. I'm going to assume maybe reduce the duration and melee damage of Striker bottom. I don't know too much about warlocks, so I couldn't tell you. Arc Strider bottom, maybe reduce the amount of damage you take from the roll. And sticky trip mines again, pretty nice. So, nothing really crazy movement-wise. So basically, to sum up everything I said, there is a large abundance of hunters in the Crucible. There is a lack of titans, there is a lack of warlocks, and there's a lack of titans because they do not have a strong movement ability, whereas hunters have 2 strong movement abilities. Warlocks, there's a bit more. They have a pretty strong movement ability, but only on one subclass, whereas hunters basically have them on every class and every subclass, and their ability is very easy and good to use. So that's it for me, Guardians. I hope you enjoyed me kind of just talking about it. What do you guys think about the 3 subclasses? Let me know down below. And I will leave you guys with me talking to Old Man Mikowski and Kenny Vaccaro about it in game. So until next time, stay thick. Maybe we can have this chat while we're in the game. I wanted you to your opinion on like the class balances and all that.
What do you mean?
Like why you see 6 hunters in games, but you don't see 6 warlocks or 6 titans, you know?
I think mobility. Mobility preference. I used to play the Titan main, and then I started playing a Hunter. I just felt better. Maybe it's the dodge. I don't know.
Thinking about the skill gap in Destiny, it's not gunplay related. It's movement related. And the most mobile character in the game is easily the Hunter. You can't do. And then to some degree, as recently as like the last patch, you had the Warlock top tree, right? Solar. Yeah. That kind of got into the mix, and that's only comparable because it has something like the
it's
dodge.
Because the movement. See how fast like Panda and them are.
Exactly.
I feel like
so outside of Hunter, it's really that Dawn.
He's one shot. Both of them.
I feel like a Hunter or a Warlock with the new update, put it on the map, and I think it has potential to be better.
No, it's king right now.
Yeah, it has.
You see all the sweats are doing it.
It has potential to be better than a Hunter, but it's harder to hit that potential, and that's probably why you don't see 6 warlocks in the game. If they're better, it's just it's not as easy to hit that potential.
If you start looking at these sweat tourneys, you're starting to see some of the best players. They're all using Dawn though. I've noticed that, and that's because of the movement. Like when we were doing that we were playing Manor the other day and Panda was moving so much faster. Like in Onyx, they're just across the map.
Your ally is the only one left.
Yeah, the movement is like
Warlock skating on MMK, and then Icarus dashing is crazy.
It's faster than the original Titan skating on PC.
Yeah, and then you can and then you have the Celestial Pot. I mean, it's a very good class, and you have a Rift.
And you can go left and right and all that, compared to Titan skating.
So Jimmy, what would it take for you to play on a Titan again?
They need some kind of movement.
One opponent left.
What?
Titan skating would have to return, or Twilight Garrison?
Both.
Twilight Garrison will probably change it.
Ooh, both. Wow.
Because that would put it on the same level as the current Warlock.
Yeah, but we can't. I mean, what about Hunter? They can't move.
Hunters already have the dodge, like the dodge, not the stompies.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you faster though.
No, it doesn't. But it's literally the best like movement ability in the game though.
Mobility though is get out of sticky situations pretty easily.
Yeah, you can, and you can dodge out of like.
They don't stand a chance.
Like when you're absolute, you can just dodge.
Dodge is the best fucking thing in the game. I would hate to hate that on a Titan.
Yeah, but yo clunky ass would just.
I just need
dirt.
They need a dolphin dive from like Call of Duty.
Yeah, dude, can you imagine?
The other big thing about Hunters too, Kenny, is like we have the instant jump.
Yeah, that floaty boy stuff ain't working in sweat.
That instant jump is like.
Because I'm all Warlock, I catch myself all the time.
One enemy remains.
Don't let them catch. I'll just be floating sometimes.
Oh, what am I?
Now the thing about like what people always complained about Hunters, people always thought Hunters were supposed to be the fastest. Like Titans had their skating, Warlocks now have their ability. They're like Hunters are supposed to be the fastest class. They're supposed to be.
But I think the slipperiest.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're not
really
they're not supposed to be the fastest. They're the most agile.
Yeah, they're like a fucking
Guardian down.
Yeah, there's a difference between like straight line speed, like a Titan skate, and being agile with like a dodge or the Icarus dash, something like that. Love that, man.
One